Sense the quiet shift beginning deep inside, a subtle energy stirring, ready to sweep away limits and welcome unseen blessings. Watch as a gentle force awakens, steady and wise, inviting clarity and fresh possibility with every word you shape. Beneath daily thoughts, a silent river flows, powerful, transformative, prepared to guide your journey into new realms of prosperity. Choose to stay with me until the end, because in these coming moments, you'll discover the hidden habits that unlock abundance and open doors you never dreamed could appear. Words possess creative power. Each statement shapes experience for better or worse. In the silent chambers of thought, every utterance, whether voiced or whispered within, acts as a command reaching farther than the mind alone can fathom. Self-talk, repeated often, becomes a living blueprint that constructs reality moment by moment. This is not an abstract notion. It is the dynamic genesis of lives transformed, the seed from which all prosperity grows. Speaking with intention forms the unseen scaffolding of daily life. Unconscious phrases, uttered in haste or habit, summon echoes, longings or burdens, light or shadow. Affirmations, when chosen with care and faith, redesign the landscape of circumstance. Words, spoken firmly and with expectation, gather spiritual resources unseen, convene helpers unknown, and turn the tide of fortune. To wield this creative force wisely is to recognize the responsibility and privilege inherent in every self-directed phrase. Negative self-talk holds no neutral ground. Each expression of doubt, limitation, or complaint strengthens the grip of old patterns. The mind, without guidance, returns to its oldest scripts, stories of lack, fear, or insufficiency. Yet this cycle is not destiny. The first act of transformation begins with observation, pausing to hear the words that populate the day, assessing their power, then gently replacing what contracts with what expands. This practice becomes a quiet revolution. Consistent, loving vigilance over thought and speech sets one free. Words tuned to harmony, gratitude, and expectancy clear the path for prosperity. Self-talk to do its work. With practice, the inner voice grows strong, trustworthy, and creative. In every moment, the invitation stands to speak as one who commands abundance, who expects harmony, and whose self-talk shapes a life of blessing. Every phrase that flows through the mind or over the lips is a building block. The law of substitution teaches that whatever limits can be exchanged at will for words that liberate. This is not simply positive thinking. It is the intentional exchange of constricting habitual thought with life-affirming declarations. When faced with a lack, the phrase abundance is chosen. When caught in self-criticism, the language of grace is spoken instead. Substitution requires awareness, then choosing the better word. It is not denial, but redirection. To say, "I never have enough," replaces possibility with limitation. To substitute with, "I am open to abundance," dissolves the wall and plants a seed. This process is gentle yet revolutionary. Little by little, words of complaint give way to statements of hope and trust, clearing space for something higher to enter. It is easy to underestimate the cumulative strength of small language changes. A single phrase, repeated daily, can become the axis on which a whole life turns. With each moment of substitution, allegiance shifts from old beliefs in lack and struggle toward a mindset rich in promise. The law does not require effort. It calls for fidelity and courage, the willingness to relinquish what never served for words that align with truth. Transformation through substitution feels uplifting and light. The vibration of one's life rises, clearing confusion and fostering clarity. Relationships shift. Opportunities appear where none seemed possible. The melody of inner dialogue grows softer, kinder, more creative. By continually exchanging phrases of struggle for those of abundance, the practitioner builds a spiritual fortress, unshakable and filled with light. An affirmation, spoken with conviction, is more than encouragement. It is a decree, a statement of what is, declared boldly in the face of apparent contradiction. The world responds to such pronouncements, not with immediate evidence, but with quiet, sure movement beneath the surface. A decree, offered in faith, sets invisible processes in motion, charting a new course toward prosperity and well-being. Affirmations must be simple, specific, and alive with feeling. They speak not of wishes, but of realities claimed. Abundance flows to me freely and effortlessly. Divine supply meets every need. These words carry power because they present adversity as a passing shadow, not a permanent state. To affirm is to anchor oneself in the certainty that good is active and on the way, not as a far-off hope, but as a present force. Timing and tone matter. A decree made repeatedly, especially when doubt or worry arises, shifts the inner dialogue from passivity to creative agency. Each declaration, spoken aloud or silently, transforms the emotional landscape. The practice turns intention into manifestation. Life reorganizes around the energy and authority of the word. Affirmations become rituals, moments of sacred self-alignment. They break habits of self-doubt, override the noise of fear, and raise expectations. This power does not come from the words alone, but from the heart that speaks them with unwavering trust. When spoken as a decree, affirmations construct a bridge from vision to reality, guiding every action and opportunity into the light of fulfillment. Within every mind, the critical voice seeks to maintain familiar patterns. It whispers caution, replays old disappointments, and resists visions of change. To struggle with this voice is to anchor it more deeply. Power grows not from resistance, but from serene acceptance and gentle redirection. Non-resistance allows criticism to pass without anchor, without argument, dissolving tension rather than feeding it. The practice is subtle yet profound. When faced with inner criticism, rather than combat each thought, simply observe, allow judgment to arise, recognize it, then allow it to float away on the breath. No defense is mounted, no energy is lost. Instead, space opens, and in that space, new ideas, creative solutions, and inspiration emerge. The critical voice weakens not by force, but by the absence of attention. Non-resistance frees the mind. It creates a buffer between stimulus and reaction, inviting deeper insight and intuition. Patterns that once prompted harsh self-talk soften. Compassion for oneself grows. The voice within gradually reflects encouragement rather than condemnation. Mistakes become lessons rather than verdicts of worthiness. Overflowing with patience, the spirit chooses non-resistance in self-talk, making space for possibility. Financial and personal setbacks lose their sting as dialogue shifts from blame to curiosity. What is life teaching through this? What doors may open next? In this openness lies creative power. The ability to transform criticism into courage and uncertainty into peace. Letting go is a sacred act. Denials, gently spoken, clear the ground for new growth. They do not wage war on negative beliefs, but release them as one might open a hand and let sand fall away. The words chosen for denial are not angry or forceful, they are soft, certain, and freeing. By saying, "Loss has no reality in my world," the grip of fear or regret loosens, making space for a new pattern to form. Denials operate beyond the visible. They disband old agreements made in thought, clearing away roots of limitation. Every statement that dissolves attachment to doubt or lack weakens those patterns hold. Denials do not deny the facts, but redirect the emotional charge. The result is not emptiness, but a fertile emptiness, ripe for possibility, ready to welcome abundance. This act of release invites unseen support, drawing in light where once shadows lingered. Practicing denials creates an environment for blessings to flourish. By consistently meeting every hint of limitation with a gentle refusal to accept it as final, the mind remains open, hopeful, and unattached. Denials become like cleansing breaths, sweeping away the remains of old narratives. Transformation arises not from striving, but from trust and the willingness to prepare the way for new outcomes. Living with denial as a practice brings peace. It calms worry, soothes self-reproach, and settles anxious anticipation. The focus shifts from battling shadows to nurturing what is bright and true. Inner dialogue, once tangled in knots of criticism, flows clear, imbued with confidence. In this clarity, opportunities appear, and the invisible becomes visible, a quiet miracle of renewal and hope. Every word spoken over your dreams has the power to open a way, bless the possibilities you cannot yet see, and they move toward you. The language of opportunity is generous. It looks beyond present circumstances and speaks faith over the unknown. When you say the right opportunities are finding their way into my life, you invite life's unseen currents to arrange doors where only walls existed. Blessing both the seen and unseen lifts your spirit above anxiety. Instead of rehearsing what could go wrong, the focus is set on what could unfold. Words of blessing create an atmosphere where solutions gather and new paths reveal themselves. This is not wishful thinking, but participation in a spiritual law where expectation and spoken word cooperate to build your future. Opportunities are often subtle and unexpected. By cultivating a habit of positive, expectant speech, you train your perception to recognize openings others might overlook. The mind, tuned to blessings, sees more than obstacles. The voice that once doubted becomes the voice that encourages, saying, "I welcome every new opening with courage and gratitude." In this way, each moment holds potential for a breakthrough. Speaking life into opportunities does not require special knowledge, just faith that the universe responds to your words. Bless the effort, the search, the waiting. With each affirmation, confidence grows that doors are set to open, even if the key is not yet in hand. This trust transforms waiting into preparation, turning every moment into a step closer to fulfillment. Faith is not a private matter. It radiates outward, touching lives beyond your own. The tone of your self-talk silently blesses or burdens those nearby. When your words are hopeful and affirming, they become an unspoken encouragement, a quiet blessing to family, friends, even strangers. Every thought and phrase vibrates with an energy that spreads, changing the emotional climate of any room. Sharing words of trust and expectation, even silently, draws others toward higher possibility. Miracles often begin this way. A parent's encouraging thought lifts a child. A friend's belief steadies another's wavering heart. Stories abound where a single spoken blessing shifted outcomes for an entire community, not by force, but by the quiet insistence of faith. This is the mystery at the heart of spiritual law. What you affirm in yourself, you invite for all. Self-talk anchored in faith becomes contagious. The language of possibility and hope becomes a shared rhythm. Doubts dissolve more quickly in an environment where encouragement is spoken freely. As language shifts from fear to faith, relationships grow more harmonious. The power of the word proves itself not just in personal transformation, but in collective upliftment. Live as a silent blessing, speak abundance and peace within, and watch as these qualities ripple outward, finding their way into conversations, decisions, and the hearts of others. In a world crowded with discouragement, your faith-filled self-talk becomes a gift, unseen, but deeply felt, quietly inviting miracles wherever you are. Some obstacles to prosperity hide within everyday speech. Words of doubt and fear slip into self-talk disguised as caution or realism. Phrases such as, "That's too hard," or "I'm just unlucky," repeat themselves, becoming a subtle barricade to abundance. Change begins with honest attention to these patterns, listening closely to reveal the hidden voices shaping daily experience. Identifying prosperity blocks is an act of gentle awareness. Notice the familiar complaints, the resigned sighs, the small dismissals of hope. Beneath them rest old stories of inadequacy, fear of disappointment, or beliefs picked up without question. These words have power only when left unexamined. Bringing them to light, without judgment or shame, diminishes their impact. Transformation starts with replacement. Where doubt whispers, "I never win," replace it with "good things are on their way." Where scarcity says, "There's never enough," declare, "I am abundantly supplied." Each substitution weakens the old, strengthens the new. With intention and patience, even the most stubborn phrases lose their hold, replaced by language that draws prosperity nearer with each repetition. Breaking down subtle blocks is a gentle, ongoing practice. Self-talk grows clearer, friendlier, more supportive of change. As inner doubts subside, new opportunities for wealth and growth present themselves. The world reflects the new language spoken within, a life more open, more abundant, and profoundly changed by the quiet power of words. Consistency transforms a declaration from an occasional hope to a living, breathing practice. Repeating affirmations daily, with the rhythm of natural breath, plants new seeds deeply into consciousness. This repetition acts as a gentle but persistent tide, washing away the old shorelines of limitation and making room for the coastline of abundance to emerge. Spiritual truths unfold in this steady cadence, revealing the power of persistence without strain. Declaring prosperity becomes a joyful habit, a sacred ritual that honors the unseen laws at work. The mind grows accustomed to hearing promises of good, building faith through repetition. Each statement dissolves old doubts, often so deeply ingrained that they feel permanent. Within this steady drumbeat, resistance fades and expectancy swells, aligning inner and outer worlds with one quiet authority. Timing matters. Morning declarations set a tone for the day, while evening ones cradle the mind with hope and confidence through the night. Spoken aloud or whispered, written or meditated upon, the sacred rhythm of daily declarations sustains transformation. It is not a race toward perfection, but a dance perfected in devotion and trust. Through rhythmic repetition, self-talk becomes a melody of creation, soft, insistent, and unconquerable. It invites a flow of blessings, weaving intention and faith so closely that the very cadence of speech leads life toward fulfillment and joy. Imagination is a sacred space where inner dialogue crafts the reality yet to come. In the quiet mind, vivid scenes arise, life as it will be when abundance flows freely. This internal scripting summons emotions of gratitude, peace, and joy, aligning thought with the vibration of fulfillment. The power rests not just in words, but in the images and feelings co-created within. Living in the end means holding firmly the vision that desires are already fulfilled. Imaginative self-talk is a rehearsal for reality, allowing doubts to soften beneath the certainty of experience. This practice is not escapism, but a deliberate choice to occupy the mental space of the future blessing, shaping subconscious patterns to match hopeful expectancy. The creative mind does not distinguish sharply between what is seen internally and what becomes visible externally. Emotions stirred in imagination ripple outward, influencing behavior, opportunity, and circumstance. Internal conversations scripted with care become engines of manifestation, shaping pathways to actualize unseen possibilities. One's daily dialogue with imagination strengthens faith and resets patterns of thought toward creation. Each mental picture painted with assurance invites life to unfold accordingly, making imaginative self-talk a powerful element of spiritual abundance practice. Within the quiet spaces of thought, a voice beyond ego whispers truth and guidance. This higher self speaks softly but with profound clarity, offering direction that aligns with one's highest good. Listening deeply transforms self-talk from reactive chatter into inspired conversation, where wisdom subtly guides each word and thought toward growth and abundance. Distinguishing this voice requires stillness and trust. It often contradicts impulse or fear, inviting a new perspective woven from peace rather than struggle. Self-dialogue guided by intuition removes doubt's fog, replacing it with confidence rooted not in external validation but inner knowing. The higher self knows when to speak boldly and when to embrace patience. Following this voice reshapes the inner narrative into one rich with purpose and clarity. The words become less about forcing outcomes and more about opening channels for divine wisdom to work. This quiet influence nurtures alignment with divine timing and spiritual law, producing fruit without frantic effort. By attuning to intuition through refined self-talk, abundance flows naturally. Guidance shapes decisions, cultivates peace, and integrates life's experiences into a harmonious whole where spiritual wisdom and practical reality dance in synchrony. Every exchange holds sacred potential. Speaking blessings over money received, spent, or circulated transforms mundane acts into spiritual rituals. This practice acknowledges money as energy, a conduit of divine supply rather than a source of worry or scarcity. Blessings gently shift perception from limitation toward gratitude and trust. Blessing money invites prosperity into circulation, opening the flow like water nourishes a garden. It renews the relationship with material resources, releasing fear or guilt bound to finances and replacing them with reverence and care. This conscious speech aligns financial dealings with divine purpose, making money a vehicle for blessing rather than burden. Regularly blessing money affirms the practitioner's faith in abundance as plentiful and available. It cultivates generosity and detachment simultaneously, recognizing that true wealth transcends possession but thrives in circulation. Each spoken blessing echoes an affirmation that supply always meets need, turning transactions into sacred exchanges. This humble practice strengthens prosperity consciousness, deeply transforming how one approaches financial flow. With every blessing, money becomes not only a resource but a partner in creation, infused with grace, opening doors to increased blessing and financial peace. Mastery of inner speech is mastery of creation itself. The words held within shape every facet of life, especially financial well-being. By learning to command self-talk with sacred intention, limiting beliefs dissolve and new patterns of abundance take root. This is not merely a technique, but a spiritual art, a daily practice of aligning heart, mind, and word with divine provision. Each moment offers a choice to nourish old fears or to speak life into new possibilities. This conscious dialogue invites blessings beyond measure and transcends mere hope. It is a commitment to live attuned to unseen spiritual laws, trusting that each word carries the power to manifest miracles. A single phrase changed today can ripple outward, transforming entire destinies. Nourish your words with faith, clarity, and love. Speak boldly, knowing each declaration sets unseen wheels in motion. The path to financial blessings unfolds naturally, lived one conscious phrase at a time. Step forward in confidence. Your words are the wand that shapes your world. Embrace sacred self-talk and welcome a life rich with abundance, peace, and divine harmony. SEO keywords naturally incorporated prosperity, self-talk, positive affirmations, abundance mindset, spiritual abundance, financial blessings, law of substitution, manifestation, intuitive guidance, blessing money, metaphysical laws.